What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today Apple unexpectedly releases iOS 13 Developer Beta 7 on a rare Thursday release. And this comes a little over a week after the release of Developer Beta 6 and Public Beta 5. And like usual, the public beta testers should expect to see Public Beta 6 as soon as later today, but most likely tomorrow afternoon. So of course, like always in this video, we're going to cover all of the new features and changes here in this latest beta. We're going to also talk about the battery life, the performance, the bugs, connectivity, and we're also going to revisit the calendar to see when we can expect the next beta and of course the final release of iOS 13 as well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. So you can see here I installed Beta 7 on my iPad Pro, my iPhone 7, and my iPhone XR. So the sizes do vary of course depending on your device and which version you came from. On the iPhone XR here it's 342.2 megabytes, on the iPhone 7 236 megabytes, and on the iPad Pro the update comes in at around 270 megabytes. And if we go ahead over to our settings general about and take a look at the build number there, you could see it's 17A5565B. And if you look down at the modem firmware number, you can see we do have a slight update to the modem firmware. It went from 2.00.01 to the same except for -2 at the end. So just a minor update there in terms of the modem firmware. So now let's go ahead and talk about the changes here in iOS 13 Developer Beta 7. And there are quite a few of them. The first one is going to be a major change and a major bug fix, and that is that the 3-finger tap no longer displays the toolbar on the top of your device throughout the OS. So it only works now when you're actually typing something in notes and not just on the home screen. So you can see there when I 3-finger tap, nothing happens. But if we go back to the previous beta, Beta 6, if we 3-finger tap, you can see, if I don't click on an icon, you can see the little toolbar pops up there at the top of the screen. Again, you just have to make sure not to click an application. You can see the toolbar right there. And this is a major issue for a lot of people, especially people that played games. So this was a very big kind of game-breaking bug for games like PUBG, because you would have to use 3-finger gestures and it would actually pull up that menu instead of actually doing what it's supposed to do in the game. So now thankfully the toolbar only pops up when you're actually typing something like in notes or something like that, not just anywhere in the OS, the home screen included. So for instance, if we went into the notes application and 3-finger tapped, you can see the toolbar does pop up, but if we go back to the home screen and try it, you can see it does not pop up because we don't have any text there or really any use for using that gesture. So thankfully this has been fixed, and that's really great because I know a lot of you guys in my comment section have been reporting this and talking to me about it in the comment section, so I know you guys will be pleased with that bug fix. Now the next change is on the home screen. So we're gonna have Beta 6 on the left, Beta 7 here on the right. If you take a look at the folders right there, you can see they're back to normal now. They're not as translucent as they were in the previous beta, Beta 6. You can see the folders are back to having that little gray tint right there, and they're not as translucent and not as dependent on the background. They don't really change as much depending on the background like they did in Beta 6. And if we 3D touch on the brightness toggle here in the control center, you will notice down in the bottom left where we have our dark mode feature there, you can see that the text has been reverted back to dark mode here in Beta 7. You can see there it says dark mode compared to Beta 6 where it said appearance dark off until sunset. So it said appearance dark instead of dark mode, and now it's been reverted back to dark mode. I think dark mode does look better, so hopefully it stays that way. Now inside of the home application, if we go down to the wallpapers, you will see that we do have new wallpapers here. They're actually old wallpapers that kind of just returned here in Beta 7. So you can see we just have these 3 wallpapers there in addition to the new ones right here in iOS 13. And if we 3D touch or haptic touch on the Safari icon on our springboard, you will see that the menu for the 3D touch menu here is kind of reversed. It's kind of changed a bit. So rearrange apps is at the bottom in the previous beta, but now it's at the top in Beta 7. And you can also see these menu items are also changed up quite a bit. And it's the same deal with settings. So if we go into our settings, you will see a difference in Beta 6 versus Beta 7 here in terms of the order. Same with the App Store. You can see that the menu items on the App Store have also been changed, and that goes on for a couple other apps. So there are some minor changes going on with the 3D touch / haptic touch menus. I also noticed a new addition to the 3D touch menu if we do it on the clock application. So now you can see in Beta 7 we have start timer, whereas in Beta 6 we did not have the option to start the timer from the 3D touch or the haptic touch menu. Now if we go into our settings and go down to privacy, location services, and then scroll down until we see system services, and then go down a bit, you will see we have a new option there called system customization. And this was actually added added with beta 6, but I just overlooked it, but now I am noticing it here in beta 7. Now another huge change, or really a bug fix, an application fix really in beta 7 that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about, is the mail application feels so much better than it did in any previous iOS 13 beta. So the mail application has probably been the most troublesome application for me and tons of other people as well. But now with beta 7, the mail application seems a lot more responsive. There's no bugs. We have the last updated time at the bottom still. We can delete messages and drafts and things like that without them reappearing. Pretty much all the issues seem to be fixed, and it's also a lot faster and more responsive than it was in beta 6. So if you use the mail application a lot, you will probably notice a difference. And if you do, make sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below, just so I can know that this isn't placebo, because it does not feel like placebo. It feels like an actual improvement. But let me know your thoughts and your experience down in the comment section below. Now, if we go into our settings and go to wallpaper, choose new wallpaper, you will see that the dynamic thumbnail is back to regular again. If we go back to beta 6, the previous beta, and if we went to that same section right here, you will see that it was blank. For some reason, it was bugged out in beta 6. And if we actually click on the dynamic wallpapers there, you can see they're all appearing here in beta 7, whereas in beta 6, again, they were really bugged out and just no thumbnail was showing at all when you went to them inside of settings. Now, one bug inside of Safari, which I talked about in my follow-up video to beta 6 yesterday, is if we go in 3D Touch on a link inside of Safari and go to hide link previews or show link previews and then 3D Touch again, in beta 6 on some devices, especially my iPhone 7, the application would crash. So Safari would crash, but now in beta 7 that has been fixed. There's no crashing no matter how many times we 3D Touch and click on show or hide link previews. So that bug was probably only happening because that was a new feature and it wasn't fully polished up yet, but thankfully that has been fixed in beta 7. Now if we go into our shortcuts, unfortunately automations is still missing from the bottom menu bar down here. We still do not have the automations tab. We did have this earlier in iOS 13, but for some reason it went missing. We may get it at the final release of iOS 13, or it may come back in iOS 13.1 or 13.0.1, whatever it's going to be. And unfortunately, announce messages with Siri is also still missing. There would be a little option for it right there in notifications, and it would also be down here in the control center. It would be an option, but now we don't even have the toggle for that inside of the control center. You can see there's nothing for announce messages with Siri. So that's another thing that may be coming back in the future that was here in earlier betas of iOS 13, but it's gone and we don't know if it's coming back until later. Now, as far as bugs go, for some reason, the keyboard click sounds are still inconsistent. So some clicks will be louder than others. And I've noticed this. This is one of the first things I tested out. The keyboard clicks are still loud. Sometimes they'll be quiet, normal sound, and then you'll just click a random letter and it'll be super loud for some reason. I don't know how this still hasn't been fixed, but hopefully this does get fixed in the next beta. And for those asking, yes, I did report this in the feedback application yesterday. Another bug that still persists here in beta 7 is inside of the App Store. If we go to the top free and top paid applications, the thumbnail for all these applications are very low quality. It's like Apple just doesn't know which device I'm using, so it serves a different size image, a different quality image. I'm not really sure, but those are still very low quality images for some reason. But aside from that, I haven't noticed any other bugs so far here in beta 7. It seems to be pretty smooth so far. I've not had any crashes or anything, but of course it's only been about an hour now. But of course I will be making a follow-up video on iOS 13 beta 7 next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. But as far as performance and battery life goes, of course it's still too early to tell with either one, but performance, I can definitely tell an improvement inside of the mail application right away. So the mail application, definitely you're going to notice a performance improvement there. As far as multitasking and animations and everything, it feels about the same as beta 6. And if you're curious about more in-depth, talk about the betas and the performance, watch my follow-up video on beta 6 from yesterday. You can find it up in the cards right now. I talk a little bit more about performance and battery life in that. But as far as beta 7, it's probably going to be exactly the same in terms of performance. Now, in terms of battery life, I'm hoping that beta 7 is going to improve battery life over beta 6, because for some reason, I was getting a little bit worse battery life, especially on the iPhone 7 and a little bit on my iPhone XS Max as well. So hopefully we do see some minor enhancements to battery life in beta 7 or hopefully even beta 8. Now, speaking of beta 8, when can we expect to see iOS 13 developer beta 8 released? And normally with these beta releases, we usually see either a Monday or Tuesday release, but since this release, the beta 7 release was on a Thursday, I can't really see a Monday or Tuesday release happening. So that would be the 19th or the 20th. I would say that Wednesday, the 21st would be the earliest we could see the next beta 8. but also possibly next week, next Thursday on the 22nd. Even though these were kind of rare days to release a beta, it would be exactly 1 week after this, and we are getting close to the final, so it seems that Apple's going to have to go to a 1 week cycle. So I would expect either the 21st or the 22nd for developer beta 8, and then like always, the public beta usually comes the following day. So anyways, guys, there you have it. That is iOS 13 developer beta 7. That's everything that I found so far that's new. Again, if I find any other new features or changes, bugs, performance, battery life, I'm going to talk about all that stuff in my follow-up video, which should be out early next week. Now, just a reminder, I am going to California on Saturday, so hopefully beta 8 doesn't release until Thursday because that's when I will be back in town. But just a heads up, I will be letting you guys know over on Twitter as well. And if you aren't following me on Instagram, definitely go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm going to have some really epic pictures posted from my trip. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future iOS 13 content. But anyways, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.